Hello and welcome to Movie Buffs, a show about revolutionaries, Christmas adventurers, and drinking and driving. I'm your host, Cisco from Misfit Minded.
And I'm your other host, Ghetto Pat, aka Shani B.
Each episode, we check the gate, break down the movies of all genres, from major franchises to indie darlings. Today, we're wrapping up our Best Picture nominees with our last one battle after another, and then we're going to rank all the nominees that we've covered, so all 10 movies. I thought today we could kick off real quick about this Oscar season in particular, because I do think it's a really weird one, and I
Yes.
think that we can do better in the future moving forward,
Please.
because there's been some controversies that I just think are so unnecessary. I'm talking, of course, about Timothée Chalamet's recent comments that have come up. I saw this interview last week. I texted you when I was watching it and saying,
Yep.
hey, this is a cool interview with Matthew McConaughey. These are two actors that I like. Didn't think anything of it. And then a week later, he's like, people are trying to like jump all over him that he said this
Yep.
outrageous thing. And I just think people need to do better, dude. People were commenting on it that don't go to operas, that don't go to ballets, that didn't watch the clip. Like, again, that's another thing too. It's like if you watch the video, he's
The context.
joking.
Yeah.
He's clearly joking. It was an offhand joke remark where he was just going, and he was talking about, like, again, out of context. The context was he was talking about how movies are kind of struggling right now as an art form, and he doesn't want it to turn into something like opera ballet where it's like
Exactly.
his words could have been better. You know, he was trying to say they have like a niche, like small audience, but he said where nobody really cares about it. That's what came out.
Right.
And then I think he realized that was bad wording, and he goes, just kidding, like, no, no shots or whatever. I just lost viewership, like tried to joke it off. And people are acting like he was coming for opera and ballet. And it's like, that's not the case. Like, people need to chill.
No, but it's this long press circuit, right? These Oscars are way too late, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
And I think that's making people starve basically for content. And, if someone like Chalamet, who's super famous, who is kind of controversial because, sometimes people don't like him. And
They
I
don't like
feel
Kylie Jenner. That's another piece of it. Like,
it's easy to attack him. They're, looking for those clicks and just coming after him. And it's like, I am a theater person, so I do love to go to the ballet and I do see the opera because I'm like trying to support these arts or whatever. But that's very different than sort of saying that like they're, that like movie theaters and going to the theaters could turn into something that is as niche, right? Like that's what he was actually talking about. And it's sort of like, I agree. I don't want it to be that niche. Like there's plenty of people who make fun of me for, caring about the opera and the ballet. So it's not like he spoke out of turn, really.
Well, he was being self-deprecating. He was saying like that how weird of a choice it was for him to take Wonka, but he did that because it was like an unconventional choice, and he wanted to work with the director of Paddington, and so that's why he did it. And like, I thought that was like a very self-aware thing that he didn't have to admit that we even commented that was a weird choice. But like, again, I even thought Doja Cat commented on it and then recanted what she said, and I thought her comments were like very illustrative of what we're talking about, where she was
reactionary.
Like, I commented on something, I didn't know the full context, we need to stop jumping on things that we don't know about because it's easy and because you know what I mean, like, and agreed, we need to stop doing that.
Yes.
They tried coming for Jessie Buckley too, our girl Jessie Buckley, because she says something about cats.
Oh,
and like
my
about how
gosh.
she don't like cats or something, and people are like, oh, she hates all animals. And so I'm like, guys.
The Oscars are too late, right? The Oscars are too late. We should be done. We're like on to the next year. We're like over it. And people are wanting to hate on these people because I think they're just tired of the season.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's sort of what it is. And it makes no sense to me that they have gotten later and later. Like, what the fuck?
Well, their excuse is because of the Olympics. That was their excuse this year. And then it wanted to overlap with the Olympics, which I get, but
the Olympics were over. Oh, I guess the Paralympics. That's right. Okay. The show went before.
Yeah, I think anything past February is way too late. Like, it feels like a ball rolling down a hill that we're just waiting for, and then people can just drum up these stories, and people are getting overexposed with Timothy maybe, and like,
yes,
you know what I mean? So it's like it's a lose situation where it's
truly.
Like, we want to get this over with. The actors don't want to be doing this, and all these interviews probably. So like, let's
Nope.
just stop. Let's just not do this next time. All right. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see what it does to the awards overall too, right? Like
mhm.
that's what's interesting about this too, is that like these are front runner type of people being attacked. So what is that going to do ultimately when we get to the big show? I
Well,
that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
and this waiting period is like what Harvey Weinstein used to like, put out hits on certain actors and movies, you know what I mean?
That's
Which
right.
shouldn't happen. Cause some of this, when I saw the Timothy thing, I'm like, is this like, did someone put a hit out on Timmy? Like, what is going on? Like,
Maybe they did.
cause
Maybe they did.
it was crazy, dude. I'm thinking, oh, this is just people on threads that just want to complain about everything. No, it really
Blew
developed
up.
into a story. And I was like, this is crazy.
Yes, yes.
But speaking of reactionaries and news and being relevant right now, let's talk about One Battle After Another,
Yes.
which is, if you haven't seen it, it's about a former revolutionary who is forced out of hiding to rescue his kidnapped daughter from an obsessed extremist military person by the name of Colonel Lockjaw. It was written and directed by the master himself, PTA. Budget was 130 million and it grossed 170 and 175 million. And then it grossed a total of 209 million. And then it currently holds a 4.2 rating out of 5 on Letterboxd. So pretty high
Okay.
there.
Mhm.
But yeah, before we get into this movie, what is your relationship with PTA? He's had a long career. He still hasn't won any Oscars yet. How are you feeling about him?
I think that's an interesting part of this conversation. I think I totally respect him. He is like a director. I feel like, I want to see his movies. If I know he has a new movie coming out, I want to check it out. But he's also, one of those directors that like doesn't really make movies for me per se,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I appreciate his movies and I appreciate the effort he puts in and it's interesting the stories he wants to tell, but I feel like, I don't rewatch his movies as much as I would other directors with the except for Licorice Pizza, which I like love. Licorice
Okay.
Pizza is made for me, so I
Yeah.
love that one. But I feel like, this was a really interesting entry into his career because like we were talking about other directors and sort of trying to find like the through lines and the stories they like to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I was sort of like, this feels like an outlier, but I think
Mm-hmm.
I zeroed in on like he likes to tell niche world stories where people's reality is like very small, but it's huge to them.
Okay.
And that's the best I could take from this. Cause otherwise I was sort of like, this seems like such a weird, this felt like a Linklater movie to me. It felt
Mhm.
more like a story Linklater would want to tell, which I was like, what is that about? I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt kind of confused about it, where to stand on it, and I guess, it's not my favorite PTA, I'll say that, but it was
Yeah.
entertaining enough, and, I was curious about where the story was gonna go, so it's good, but it's interesting that he hasn't won an Oscar before because if he really wins for this, I don't know, like, it'll feel like one of those, reparative Oscars, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, to me, it won't necessarily feel like, "Well, this is his peak work,"
Yeah.
really. What about you? What'd you think of it?
I mean, I think, like, yeah, he's one of our masters, like, that's not I know that was, like, a joke because one of his
Because
movies
of
is
The
The
Master?
Master, which is a great movie, by the way. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's the Oscars' fault. They need to stop doing this where, like, because PTA started at such a young age, like, he was, like, in his 20s when he
Mhm.
started directing films, like, in the 90s or whatever, that the Oscars goes, "Oh, you have a career ahead of you. We won't give it to you yet." And so,
Right.
like, maybe, like, my favorite of his movies, Boogie Nights, doesn't
Oh,
win,
so good, yeah.
any awards for him or whatever.
Shocking.
And so, and we keep waiting and waiting, and then maybe his best chance, since then was There Will Be Blood, but that year went to No Country for Old Men, which because they never gave it to the Coens earlier in their career for something like, say, Fargo, which you could argue is one of their best movies, they
Yes.
just keep doing it to themselves. And
They
so
do. They
I
do.
so I don't think you can be upset if One Battle wins, which like I think it's the front runner right now. And I think like again, the Oscars does it to themselves. PTA just keeps putting out consistent work. And I like the fact that he doesn't have like necessarily like a through line. Like we talk about, that's one of the
Yeah.
things of auteur theory that like not every director falls perfectly in place with that theory of like, Fincher or like they have
Right.
these themes that go through all their films. Like there's some directors that don't necessarily fit into that mold, but they just make like epic movies, different stories. Like it,
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I don't know where I would like rank this in his filmography, but I think this is definitely like the film of the year for me. I said that like
Alright, so you really, really liked it.
I do. I really like this movie.
Awesome, okay.
I thought that when I first saw it, like I was like, damn, like I don't know if I'll see anything like better this year, and I'm not gonna spoil like our rankings or whatever, so I won't get into that if I did or not. Um, but yeah, it's just like it's kind of it reminded me we talked about Marty Supreme. There's a lot of like overlap to me
Mm,
where epic storytelling, we're following these
yes.
characters. It's very propulsive, like for an almost 3 hour
Yes.
movie. Dude, rewatching it again, like, you get, like, a mini movie for the first 30 minutes
Mhm.
about Tiana Taylor's character,
Yep.
Perfidia Beverly Hills, and Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yes.
and that was just, like, engrossing and enrapturing, and, like, I was just, like, getting emotional just with that story, the 30 minutes storytelling of that, and then we
Mhm.
hit the reset button, and we're introduced to their daughter who's, like, grown up now, and it's like, okay, where are we going now? And like the whole film kind of feels like that, where it's just like we're getting taken, we're being held by the music and the camera
Yep.
work, and
Yep.
meanwhile, all these performances are just like so, like intensely like watchable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
even if you don't know like what's happening like at all times, it feels like very of a piece, and I think very of the moment, which is like what people are so responding to with this
And I
movie.
do appreciate that he builds out his world in such a way where every single actor feels like a real person. Every single actor can give you a kind of performance that's unforgettable. And I do really appreciate that about the stories he does tell.
I mean, and it's like, dude, this is like one of the best looking movies of the year. Like, it's just so gorgeously shot. Like, the action piece of it, like this is definitely the most action he's ever shot, which like for
Yeah,
our show Movie Bus, what it used to be,
that's right.
I loved that, like that car chase set piece at the end is like phenomenal. I mean, like
Yes,
it was like I was on a roller coaster, like
fully.
even on this rewatch, where we're like traveling with the camera like floating above the hills, like
Yeah, I felt
dude,
kinda, like, dizzy even at certain points
yes.
where I was like, "Holy smokes, like, this is, like, making me kind of seasick."
But always tangible. Like we always know where everyone is. Like we talk about that a lot with like action. Like the geography is like so defined where like we know there's this, where the roads are. And then when it gets to the end, I was like, how does she get away with enough like road to do her plan, and how
Mhm,
she gets away? And it's because there's this long stretch of road where she just like speeds up, speeds up, speeds up. And
mhm.
then when she gets over that arch, then she can like execute her plan, and I don't know, dude. It's amazing. I don't know. I love this
That's
movie.
awesome. I'm glad you really liked it, you know? I feel like it was definitely entertaining, but, yeah, I tried my best to not have too high expectations because some of the
Yeah.
other ones we watched across these conversations, I had such high expectations going
Mhm.
in, and I think I still had high expectations, so there were some pieces where I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I wanted a little more of that," or, I thought that was gonna go a little differently." But I do still feel like, there were these amazing trademarks of his because I agree with you. I think, like he's a little unpredictable as an auteur, but like where he is predictable is also very fun. Like
Mhm.
loves to follow people through mazes within buildings. Like loves a good building that's hard to navigate,
Mhm.
which I loved all of the different places he took us. All the different kind of like tunnels we had to go through. And this was just a really interesting story. Like I do feel like it's interesting to me that a few of the stories that are in this best picture category are about sort of like a kind of future that is like close to the one that we're in, right? Like also commenting on sort of like fascist police forces, right? Like, systemic racism, all kinds of things. And it's interesting, like his version of telling that was interesting when we look at some of the other versions, of that we were seeing like in Begonia and, stuff like that. Like him wanting to talk about that was really interesting to me. So I found that this story to be pretty compelling.
Yeah, and I think like he's definitely gonna win like the best adapted screenplay because like this was based off like a Thomas Pynchon like
Oh,
book or
it
something
was
like
a
that.
book? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but it's like very different from what I've heard. Like he definitely like
Okay,
put his
interesting.
own, which is like why I think it feels so relevant. Is like he crafted it to feel
Yeah.
that way, and like some of the choices, we talk about like how specific choices just like really make great movies. And so I felt like he was putting in again new stories that just like this is only aged, for better or worse, like so accurate to like our current time of like people getting shot in the street, like innocent civilians,
Yep.
us
Yeah,
going
like
like
inciting violence on purpose so that you can respond
on
with
American
violence.
soil,
Yep.
which has happened in the last few months. And like these men in power that like go to war and have these like motives, and who pays the price for it ultimately is like
Yep.
all you see all these people that, they're they're blowing up buildings, and maybe they're not going about it the right way, but like when these people are not abiding by the law, so why should they? You know what I mean? And like, I like the complexity of the characters, like Tiana Taylor for, I don't know, I know she's done like a few things before this. I thought she was incredible, like for the short amount of
Yeah.
screen time she has. I mean, she's like the first person we see like in this movie, and like you're just transfixed to like her performance, like
Yeah.
for that opening 30 minutes, and it's like it's heartbreaking like when she leaves because you're just like, damn, like I was
I
really
know.
into that.
I
But
thought she
then
was coming back.
I
Please.
know. But I think it comes around at the end. That final scene where the daughter's reading the letter is just like, again, like it was getting me like choked up again, just like the first time like I saw this movie. So, and then I love the main character of Bob, played by Leo, like
Nailing it always.
just a protagonist that is in way over his head. Like I think Leo,
He did really good.
I love when he plays these type of characters that are just like just way up over their head. They're at the point we meet him, like when it jumps to the future, he's just like he says it at one point in the dialogue. I've just been drinking and smoking and doing drugs for
Yeah,
the
I
past
just
30 years.
destroyed my memory. Yeah, exactly.
That's that's one of my favorite scenes of the year where he's like he can't remember the password, which is like a pain I think we've all felt at some point, and
Yes.
he's begging this guy on the phone, like I don't fucking remember.
Please,
Like,
please. Yes.
and like I love, and then he's like trying to find a place to charge his phone. We get like 5 or 6 different location changes where he's like, all
Yeah, the
right,
Benicio stuff.
now I'm gonna charge it here, and Benicio's like, come on, Bob, not here, not here.
Yeah, over here, over here. And he's like, I don't know what the time is. And Benicio's all like, it's 8:15.
8:30, 8.
It's so good.
Benicio, like, yeah, even like all the supporting characters were like so great. Even in the opening, we get like Alana Haim and like Wood
Yes.
Harris, like
Yep.
in this thing. Dude, it's and Sean Penn, Regina Hall, like
Sean Penn's insane.
they
Hmm.
fill out these characters in a way that like again they don't need like the showiest scenes necessarily. Like Sean Penn, I knew right away like, oh, he's gonna get nominated for this. Like there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah, the
he's
way he comes on and the way his whole character.
Yeah, Colonel Lockjaw, which is like the perfect name for this type of like psychopath. And like his scenes with Tiana Taylor like set him up like where you're like, what is up with this guy? Like this guy,
Yeah.
there is something like, and the power dynamic though between the two of them, I thought was like so interesting too. Where it's like, what is she getting out of this? Because like that was one, kind of news story too, where people are saying like, sexualizing the black character like Tiana Taylor or whatever. But when rewatching it, it helps her in the end because she's put in
Yeah,
a
she uses
position,
it.
she uses it to get out of jail free card. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Yep.
it's totally in line with the character. I thought like all the controversies this movie like faced over the awards thing, I think it's gotten over all of those hills. Like I don't think any of them have really stuck in any in any real way to me.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Even though it's not, my favorite of his films, like it, to your point, like it's still sound in the way that he makes a film. It's complete in like a full story that circles around, answers all the questions I wanted to answer, frankly, like I appreciate that.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was like, damn, and we don't know what happens to Regina Hall's character, but I think even that was like kind of powerful too, where we're like, damn, I guess she's like going to prison then. Like,
Right.
this is like some of the, and that was making me like emotional too, is like those characters that we just meet for a few moments in the opening when they
That
start
are
getting
so
killed.
powerful. Oh,
Oh my god, dude, like it
right?
was just it's shock. The violence in here is not like glorified at all. Like it's
No,
nasty and like,
and scary.
you know, it's scary and like and I think it does a nice job of balancing that though with our protagonist who's like the dude, like Leo has cited, like that was one of the
Yes,
inspirations for the character. And like
yes,
that was another controversy where they're like, well, he you know, he's like he saves her and the like he does all the thing. And I'm like, did you watch the same movie? He doesn't do
yeah.
anything.
No, he
Everything.
can't. He's trying his best, but he can't do anything.
And I think people miss that. That was the whole point, which is like why I like this movie, is that despite all of his flaws, like he is trying his best for his daughter. Like,
Hmm.
and that was the most revolutionary thing that he could do at that point in time, is try and show up for his daughter, which is something even Perfidia
Yes.
couldn't do,
Yep.
you know, at the time. And even, oh my God, even that short where they first have the baby and and you get so much in those short scenes of like, damn, she's going through postpartum, like,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you know, she's definitely not ready to be a mom. Like she's putting the her revolutionary stuff before
Before it.
anything.
Hmm.
So I just think it's so textured and focused and layered, like in all the characters. I mean, even they've talked about how Benicio, they really didn't have much for his character at first, and Benicio basically showed up
The
right off of the
best.
Phoenician scheme and crafted this
Ready to
character,
go.
and he's one of the most memorable characters in this movie. Sensei.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, oh my god, it's just, I don't know, like, and
So good.
rewatching that, it was just such a joy to watch, like him, you know, like how versus Leo's manic, I can't get anything right, and he's in the corner just going, you know, ocean waves, Bob, ocean waves, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and to your point, like, that's another theme that it crosses through all of these movies, that in this category too, is, like, the family dynamic,
Yes.
predominantly fathers and their children, like, a lot of father-daughter situations going on here, which we have in this film too, but
Mm-hmm.
also just sort of, like, the parent-child dynamic and, how are you gonna show up for your kids, and what does that do to them, and what does that do to your relationship, and what does that do to you as a person? And it is really interesting to sort of see that it's kind of like locked in this place until this adventure takes place, and then he can sort of let her go, right? He can sort of trust she'll be okay after they go through this
Yeah,
experience.
it's such a arc, right, for that, because the first time we see him parenting is when she's going off to the dance and he's being the overprotective dad, you know. And like,
Yeah,
you know, there's not, it's
so
not a
funny.
conversation, you're taking this tracker, and he's
Yep.
like sizing up the dudes that are picking her up, you know. That's one of my favorite lines too, when he opens the door and he's like, what up, homie, what's up?
Yes. Yeah. You just knock on people's doors like that? Yes. So good. So good.
Man, I just, yeah, and it's
Very entertaining.
it's so entertaining. It's, and like kind of like with Marty Supreme, it's just like I don't know what more you could want in a movie. You know, you got intense action, intense emotion, drama, like comedy. It hits like all the beats like really well for me.
Totally.
In a way that like,
Totally.
yeah, sure, is it long, but doesn't feel long. And like the music, I was noticing this time too, because that was another thing where people are like making fun of it, where it's just like someone on the piano going like this, like that's the score for this movie or whatever. And
That's a Yorgos movie.
it's like, well, that's making us anxious. Like it worked again for me, where I was like, I know what's happening and yet my heart
It's
is
on purpose.
racing, you know
That's
what I
right.
mean? But
That's
then it
right.
also cuts the music out. Like I noted that piano was going for a long time, and then right before Leo gets to the nuns, like that compound or whatever, the
Mhm.
music like cuts out,
Yeah.
and it's quiet for all that action of like him missing Lockjaw through the scope, where you're like, fuck, dude, you had him right
Come on, he
there.
was right there. Yeah.
And yeah, Sean Penn, just an evil son of a bitch, dude. Like
Horrible.
his scenes too with the daughter were just, with Chase Infinity, were like next level. Like in Chase
Yes.
Infinity too, I'm like, where did this person come from? Like I just,
PTA finds him.
yeah, and he brings out those performances, and I just, again, I think it's like, it's very collaborative, you know, like it feels like they all have a say in what they want for their character too. Another detail I like with the because again, PTA is in a mixed race relationship too, so I do think this is personal
Yep.
when Leo is talking to the sensei in the car, and he's like, I can't do my daughter's hair, like I can't, and he's like having this real humble moment while they're on the run,
Yep. About these
and I'm like,
limitations.
that feels so specific. Like that feels like something that maybe I don't know if he that's him, saying that. Like that's his experience, but again, it just feels like so real, and you could just feel the love, that he
Yeah.
put into
I mean,
the
or
script.
again, or just like the father of, the parent of the child who has a different gender than you, right? Like
Hmm.
the relating to them and the different ways, their different needs and the specifics of that. That's a really hard, nuanced part of parenting. And yeah, it's just interesting, that again, he kind of wanted to tell this story. And I feel like there's some personal pieces in it, but then there's also some imaginative pieces in it. And I guess I appreciate that about his stories too, is that like everyone feels like real people, even though they're really heightened. Um, and yeah, I think I'm excited to go through our lists
I know.
because I think I know where you'll be placing
Yeah.
this film, and I think you'll be surprised where I placed it, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
You want
I did enjoy it. I will say,
Okay.
like if somebody asks me, I'll say it's a wild movie. Definitely
Mhm.
check it out if you've got the time. It's not like I won't recommend it.
Right,
But
for sure.
like I'll just sort of wrap the combo on this for me in sort of saying like it's not my favorite of his. Like I'm gonna queue up Boogie Nights and Licorice Pizza forever.
Yeah.
But this one I won't forget per se.
Yeah, and just like with all the masters, I just think like, because that was another thing too, is like we're really gonna give it to not PTA's best. I'm like, that's not. Is this the best movie of the year? We're not grading it against
That's right.
someone's whole filmography. We're grading it against all the films for this year. And
Right.
like we'll get into our rankings, but I just feel like this is like a masterwork from one of our masters. And all these performances are so rich, all these characters are rich, and there's so much detail and detention centers, things that are like, if you're living in America
Yeah.
right now, how are you not, feeling heart wrenched at all of the stuff that he included in this movie? Like, it feels like I'm watching a news story at
It
some
is an
point to me,
important
you
entry
know?
into history, and filmmaking and film are important cultural artifacts.
Yeah,
And, he did not miss the mark on that. I agree there.
definitely. And a great Leo. Like, I just like, again, I think he's at that
Always.
point too where like he got his Oscar, and so I think he gets like underrated now,
Of
where like for
course.
things like this and like Killers of the Flower Moon, where I'm like, he was amazing in that movie.
Always
He's
amazing.
amazing in
Every
this.
time. Every
And
time.
people are like, yeah, but we gave it to him already. And I'm like, again, that is not the criterion. Like that is
It
not.
should not be.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let's get into our rankings. Like you queued it up for us. I think it'll be interesting. So why don't you start with your number 10? What do you
All
have?
right, my number 10. Basically, I did my rankings on like, what I would rewatch, what I feel like really impacted me the most when I watched it, like from an
Yeah.
emotional standpoint. And number 10 for me, it's Train Dreams. I'm never going to watch it again.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw it, I know what's up with it, but like it wasn't for me. So
Okay.
it's at the bottom of my list, unfortunately. What about you?
I'm gonna go. That was surprising to me. It's clearly for me the Secret Agent. I mean, if anything, Train Dreams was like an hour and 40 minutes. The Secret Agent was like 2.5 hours. Like, and I'm never
Yeah, at
going
least that's a
back to
good
watch
point.
the Secret Agent either. And it just like, at least I knew what Train Dreams was going for, even though it wasn't successful for me. But yeah, the Secret Agent, I couldn't identify like any of what it was going for, really. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why. What about your
The
number 9?
My number 9 is going to be The Secret Agent because
Okay.
I think those yeah, like, they're basically interchangeable for
Yeah.
me. I just figured that, like, at least The Secret Agent I was a little bit more engaged with, during the
I wanted
experience.
to. I really wanted to,
Exactly,
but
I
it
did
gave me
want to like
nothing.
it.
It gave me
It
nothing.
fully yeah, left me with nothing. So yeah, Secret Agent's coming in at number 9 for me, and what about you?
Number 9 is Train Dreams. I mean, I'm not too far away from you there, where it's just like, it was just, I'm sorry, it was so boring. It was, you gotta get, I know it's going for the Terrence Malick thing, but even Terrence Malick's movies can be boring for me. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to give me something more to be invested in, and it just
Agree.
felt like a novel that they didn't adapt to the screen well.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. What about your number 8?
Number 8, I have Frankenstein, which, like, I guess when we this was our first movie review, and I was like, "Oh, this is definitely going on the bottom," I think, like,
Yeah.
because, like, I just feel like it didn't, and, like, just on the basis of, like, the craft, I think it wins points, and it was, like, engaging in parts, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
there was something there. Mhm.
Jacob Elordi's performance is more engaging than anything that happened in The Secret Agent and Train Dreams for me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
there
like,
you go.
I have to place it above it for that. What about you?
Yeah, Frankenstein for me as well at number 8, and for
Okay.
the ssame reason, it's like I stand a chance of perhaps trying it again. I didn't love it,
I
you know, I
watched
Go ahead.
I watched half of it again when we did our, because I that was like our big return. I wanted to do a good job, and so I
Yep.
couldn't even get through it a second time. So
So there's
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe not. But yeah, I
yeah.
agree with you. It's like it's here because it's a Guillermo del Toro movie. Yes, Jacob Elordi is great in it, but like it's neither of them need to win for this one per se.
And it's gonna get all the below the line wins, I think, for production design, costume, makeup. I do think it's gonna take home all those. So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go.
So yeah, there you go. You get some awards there. What about your number 7?
Number 7 was F1. Again, it's like I thought
Same.
it was perfectly fine. I don't think it, like, really belonged with this list, but like we said, like, Wicked wasn't gonna make it, Avatar wasn't gonna make it this year, so this was the blockbuster pick, and it's like it's fine. It does everything relatively well, but, like, again, not one I was, like, rushing to rewatch, and I didn't rewatch it since we reviewed it. So what about
Yeah,
you?
it's just
What's
not
your
there. Same. Yeah, I
7?
feel
Yeah.
like, it was fine enough, entertaining enough, and like I said during our talk, like, I'd put it on in the background per se, but, like, I don't really think it has any chance of winning this award. It's just in there because we need a sports movie in here.
Yep. Exactly. What about your number 6?
All right, number 6, I am at sentimental value.
Mm,
I liked it a lot, but it's not my favorite of that director's movies either. So I may or may not go back to it, but I do like that it was about, actors, that it was about entertainment. I like those kinds of movies. So it's right in the
mhm.
middle for me. What about you?
My 6 is also sentimental value.
Let's go.
If that last pick was the blockbuster pick, F1, this is the movie about movies pick that the Oscars always
Gotta be in
has
there.
every
Yes.
year. And
Gotta be
so
in there.
there's some good performances, some good filmmaking stuff in it, but like you said, not like my favorite, not one that I really rush to go back to. So that's why it's middle. It's
Yeah,
a middle of the
it's
pack.
mid.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. All
So
right, what about number 5?
number 5, I have Begonia.
All right.
Which is this is one I did go back and rewatch because the ending is so surprising. So I guess that
Yes.
I mean it does. I feel like I did rate it higher for that, where I was like I did immediately go back and rewatch it. I just think Yorgos has had movies I like more.
Okay.
It's a fairly small story, like a two-hander, and I just don't think like in the future I'm gonna like rewatch it as much
Yeah.
because I think I got it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I think
totally.
everything I got is in there. So what about you? What's your number 5?
This is where One Battle falls for me, unfortunately,
Oh,
just sort of
man.
dead in the middle, not because it's not good, not because, of anything, but because it
Yeah.
just didn't hit as hard for me in terms of, that rewatchability or putting it over the top because I felt like some of the other movies had a little more grip on me when I was
Mhm.
watching them. But,
Yeah.
all the stuff we said in the conversation, like I still agree with. It still is a great movie. It's just
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if it's going to, what's going to happen with its best picture chances because, there's a lot to work with here.
Yeah, so it might you lost the battle for your list, but it might win the war ultimately. We'll go
It
with that.
could. Yeah. Yeah. I am not one of the Academy voters, so don't worry.
My number 4, I have, Sinners,
Okay.
which, again, was surprising to me because when I watched it again, I feel like it didn't live up to the hype, but
Yeah.
upon rewatch, when we did our episode for it, I could appreciate the musical elements of it. There's
Yep.
certainly some great performances in it. The thing looks really good. It really captures that time, that history and time. I just think like as a horror movie, it didn't really work for me, as we said in our review. But that's not what we're judging here. We're judging on these are the
Totally.
the best. And out of the bunch, Sinners is I think probably one that you could rewatch,
Yeah,
maybe like a little more. I was struggling between this and Begonia for number 4, and I think
for number
Sinners
4.
like just edged it out. So for
Edged it
me,
out for you.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
for that reason,
Uh,
rewatchability. Yeah.
okay,
What
that
about you?
tracks, that tracks. I put Marty Supreme at number 4,
Damn, you're
because
killing
I
me,
feel
Shanny B.
I know I'm making surprising choices as I got to the
Damn.
top here, just because, like, I do agree it was a pretty so sorry if you can hear my daughter is having a hard time getting ready for the
It's the
bath.
end of Marty Supreme. That's
It's
it's right on
yes.
cue.
Yeah, right on cue. So sorry about it. Please bear with me. But I feel like it actually gripped me a little bit more than one battle. It had that visceral nature. Like I straight up could not sleep after it. And so, it's a little higher on the list for me, but it's also just like wasn't really my favorite of the year. And, I think it has a pretty good chance, but we'll have to see.
It is one I wished I was able to rewatch too before making this list too.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Number 3 for me is Hamnet,
All
which
right.
was another surprise for me where like there was like a lot of I feel like there was a lot of hype early on and then it kind of like faded away as as the award season came closer. But I could see what reasons they got a lot of hype. Like the performances are next level. Jesse Buckley, congratulations on your award for
You earned
which
it.
you well deserved. And it just it was a story that I was not expecting and really emotional, kind of a bummer, which I guess, maybe some people will like mark it lower for that reason, but you just can't deny the filmmaking of Chloe Zhao and the performances. It's just, for me, it put it over a lot of these other ones for me. What about you?
Totally, totally. Yeah. For me, I did Begonia at number 3 because
I had a
I
feeling this would be high on your
loved it.
list. Yeah,
Yeah.
based on our
Yeah.
review.
I really, really loved it. I have gone back to watch it before, even though I really like Poor Things also. It's my favorite Yorgos movie because I
All
felt
right.
like I can get on board with rewatching this type of movie. I
Mm-hmm.
agree, with all the same points that you made. So I don't think it like actually has a chance of winning.
No.
But I feel like, it's in here because he is one of the prominent filmmakers and everybody is so good in it.
Yeah, and like just like we were saying, like just like the masters, like you give all their movies a chance, even if it's not your favorite. So Begonia, it's a good one. Like you can't it's undeniable for that reason too. My number 2 is Marty Supreme. Like I really loved what they were doing here. It's the first one. I was kind of like worried with the Safdie brothers, their split, how that was gonna affect uh this movie, but I think Josh did a spectacular job. Like it takes all of the techniques that they had on Uncut Gems and Good Time and puts it in one of our great actors right now, Timothy Chalamet, put it in his hands, put it in a sports story, like even more than Uncut Gems, which I thought maybe made it work even better than Uncut Gems in that way because it felt more personal for that. And I can't wait to rewatch it again. Like I just feel like there's so much like layered in here. I just heard an interview with him that he did on The Big Picture, Josh Safdie, and I was like, this guy's a genius. Like he's thinking 10 levels deep on like the smallest choices of like needle drops and camera moves and things like that. So I think he's gonna have a very long and rich career.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I have to see the Smashing Machine so I can like see their differences and like
Yeah.
understand sort of like, how they work together as a team. But it's true. This was a really strong entry, equally as strong as like their team efforts. Just not my fave kind of
I
movie.
mean, even
So
the choice to use 80s needle drops in a
I
story
did
that took
love
place
that.
decades before, I was
I
like,
did
man,
love
that takes
that.
some serious balls. Like,
Yeah, true. Yeah, it takes
yeah,
conviction, and I
yeah.
do appreciate that about his directing. For me, number 2 is Sinners. I
Mhm.
figure, it's just got that original story. It feels like there's a lot of momentum behind it, and I feel like it has a pretty good chance because people just sort of want it to win. And so I figure, it's just got to be high up on my list because, like, I probably will rewatch it. Certainly more than I'll rewatch From Dusk Till Dawn, honestly. And I am
Yeah.
curious about what else I can pick up from it because upon the rewatch, I feel like I got more out of it. So I love
Mhm.
a movie like that, and so I had to put it pretty high on my list.
Yeah, and it's definitely taking home the original script Oscar. And Ludwig Göransson, congratulations on your third Oscar
I
for the
mean,
music in
he
here.
is
So,
Meryl Streep of composing.
yeah. And then yeah, my number one is One Battle After Another. No surprise, like I said. I saw it pretty much before many of these movies, and I think the fact that it's like held up this long really speaks volumes for it, and that it stuck with me. All those emotions, all these performances stuck with
I
me
like
that
that.
long. And then when I rewatched it today, I was like, it hit even harder. Like knowing what was coming next, I was like, I could appreciate the subtle things that Benicio was doing in every scene. Like I was watching him in the corner instead of Leo in the like password scene, and I'm just like, man, this guy is so talented. Like I hope he wins an Oscar, like an Oscar for
Yeah,
like,
he
because
needs
he
one.
too. So but yeah, what's your number one?
My number one was Hamnet. I just
Let's
feel like
go.
it had everything it needed to have. I
Is
feel
this your
like
favorite Chloe Zhao then, you
yeah,
think?
yeah, this is my favorite Chloe Zhao.
Okay.
Like, I feel like, she was stellar in terms of the directing. All the acting is so good. And I just feel like the writing was like on point. Like, all the different pieces of Shakespearean language that was like woven into the storytelling and into, things in such a seamless way. I feel
Dude,
like
that
it stuck with
ending,
me the most.
that last 15, 30
So
minutes
powerful.
is like
Hmm.
undeniable. It's like
Yep.
I don't know how
Yep.
you can walk away and not be like, this movie deserves some love too at the Oscars. So
It's true.
I'm hoping to. So I mean, not too much differentiation, honestly, but and when it was different, I kind of knew Begonia would be higher, and Hamnet.
Yeah.
But I think overall some good movies in here, so
Yeah, for
not bad.
sure, and it was fun to watch these movies. That was
We have to
that
do it
was a
again.
lot.
We have to
Oh,
do it next year.
we'll be back. Absolutely,
Yeah.
we'll be back. All right, I think that wraps it up for us. Let's remind the people where they can find us.
Get your fix and follow the show at We Stay Buff on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. Follow me on all the socials at misfit_minded and my website, misfitminded.com.
So you never miss a rep, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please leave a positive review, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. And you can follow me on all the socials at It's Me, Shani B.
We'll be back next week to debrief on Conan O'Brien, how he did on the Oscars in general, who won, who lost, and so yeah, who takes home the big prize. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time for another edition of Movie Buffs. Until then.
No, I'm not going with them. I'm supposed to go with you. I need you, brother. Please, Sensei. Sensei, please.
Courage, Bob. Courage.
See? Courage. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you.